You all, we are not licensed professionals. We are just here on this roller coaster called life, trying to be better friends to one another, trying to be better human beings on this planet. If you're tuning in, we are not opting out of therapy. We are not advocating that you listen to us and not see someone who is licensed and trained to help you with day-to-day life on how to cope and deal. So we advocate for therapy a lot here. We believe that everyone has something to talk to somebody about. So, yeah, just like to make that disclaimer that we're just here giving our opinions and having discussions week by week. And we're hoping that, maybe you can find something useful or if at least find a little humor in this terrible, terrible rock we call a world.
In other words, if you listen to our advice and you get popped in the mouth, don't at us.
Yeah, don't at me because you may get popped in the mouth again. Welcome back to another episode of the Friendship University podcast. The podcast where we come on here and we tell all of our business for God knows why. Someone needs to hear the stories we've been through, the things that have changed us, have molded us, because people are our greatest resource. I really want you to know that being kind to yourself, healing yourself, being kind to others, it can get you further than anything else you've ever imagined. I don't know about Tarrah, but myself, I'm being a little less trash every single day in order to encourage you to be a little less trash every single day. How are you doing, friend? You're looking good.
Oh, thank you. I don't look like what I've been through.
You
So
always look good,
that's a win.
though. So
Thank
you don't
you.
look like the smoke of the fire.
Listen, fire. Um, yeah, I'm doing well. I'm doing well. God is good. It's been good.
How was your last 7 days? Give us a
Interesting.
synopsis.
Oh, so I don't even remember it
A
yesterday.
synopsis is just a small or excerpt. Give us a
Uh,
amalgamation of what you have gone through the last 7 days.
I'm trying to recall them. Yeah, just working. Um, it's just been powerful, like learning, growing, studying. So that's really it. Did I go anywhere? No, I
You
didn't
don't
go
have to go
anywhere.
anywhere for it to be a memorable time.
I know, but I would like to go
You
places.
don't have to go.
One night.
You
I
actually,
like to
is.
do.
I feel like, and you could correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like you like to go get dressed to go to places. You do also like to go to places, but I think you like to also get dressed to go to places
Yeah,
because you
I've
are
grown out of that
fashionista.
actually. Actually, I've
You
grown out of that.
you growing out of
And
it?
I'm not saying grown out of it like it's something you should grow out of or it's like less than, but like my priorities are not fashion. I just try to do the best I can with what I got, as Mariah Carey would say.
Shout out to
And
MC.
to MC3. No, I'm glad that I look decent, halfway decent when I go places. I'm grateful that for that because I'm just glad. I feel like on Coming to America, he's like, I'm so happy to
I'm
be
so happy
here.
to
That's
be
how I feel.
here. I'm so happy to
Yeah,
be
like
here.
I'm glad I'm here. I made it. Okay, like I'm grateful. Cause almost. That's how I feel. Be doing some days. Let
No,
go. I felt like
I don't.
no, I'm just joking. My pride. No, I'm just joking. But God is God is good
You know
all
I've
the
been
time.
there. I've been
Listen,
there. I've been
it's
there.
listen. Some days you just like it's a decision. What I will say is this is a decision to rejoice in no matter what. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a decision. And that's where I feel like I am. I'm like, I choose to rejoice no matter what. And every day is an opportunity to get closer to your destiny, your goal, whatever, your vision. Like it might be a little step today and tomorrow might be a really big step. But every day is is a chance and opportunity to take a step. And that's how I feel. I feel like you get to choose.
That's great. You are so right. Can I make a confession? I don't mean to cut you
Okay.
off, but I'm gonna make a confession. When you said you really like grown out of that, I get it. I really never went places to get dressed, even though I be dressing. But I ain't gonna hold you. During the pandemic, I really didn't care about wearing the mask more so for safety. I just wanted to be ugly. I just wanted to like quote unquote leave the house without maybe my mustache wasn't done. Maybe my
Absolutely.
eyebrow. Maybe I just felt like that month I want to be Sasquatch, and you ain't gonna
Yeah.
see me because right here. But you
I
know what's
had
crazy?
many a thick mustache under the mask. Y'all
I
don't know.
was
It was
I
a
was
hot mess.
rocking the mask, yes, for certain safety precautions, but a majority of my joy came from the fact that I did not have to be going through regimens. You be seeing the girlies on
Baby,
Instagram and you be seeing them
mustache
on
was
social media.
looking
They,
like,
I look crazy. You see me on FaceTime, so yeah.
baby looking like doggone
Can we braid
Hitler up
it?
there.
Let's braid it. Let's
I
just
done,
give her
I
a
done
twist
lied.
out. Let's give her a twist out. Yeah, nah. I was like, oh, I could just like bag back a little bit,
Be a
not have
nice.
to hold this up. I know the Instagram girls be out here and be like, come on, come with me on a maintenance day. Come with me for my. I have never been that girl, and I do like upkeeping myself. Don't get me wrong. But when people be like, "Oh, I can't wait to go get my manicure and pedicure," it is a trial for me. Like I do, it's not enjoyable per se. I will say I have gotten enjoyable manicures and pedicures. Like I've gone to spas and I've done different things that kind of changed the atmosphere a little bit. But like going to the regular salon, having to get a manicure, I'd be counting down the minutes. I started getting gel specifically because it was quicker. Specifically
Mm-hmm.
because it got me out of there quicker. And I was like, all right, give me the gel. I'm out. I'm in and out like a robbery.
I don't remember the last time it was like super enjoyable. Maybe like a few years ago where I was like, oh, this is an enjoyable experience. It's just not always, that's just not always the case.
No, not for me at least. It's really never been, but kudos. And the girl maintenance, kudos to y'all for keeping it up. Like, it ain't no joke being a woman out here
It
trying
really isn't.
to keep yourself up, not just presentable for the outside, but presentable for yourself. Because I think I had this conversation with friends the other day where I was like, I shave because I like the way it feels. I don't shave because so I don't care if I walk around with hairy legs per se. I shave for me. I like the way when I get in my sheets and I put on lotion and I'm not pricking myself, that hair is not coming in. So that's just me though. I like that. Okay, so your 7 days have been work, work, work. She's a worker.
Yeah, in some form or the other.
Okay, so we had a very nice, we're going to say productive week
What
because you're
about
out here working.
yours?
Well, we're doing the
Oh
FU 30-day challenge.
oh,
So I
yeah,
know
we
you're
were doing
working with
that.
that. I'm
It's
working as
been something.
well. It's been almost 10. By the time you all see it, we will be almost halfway through the challenge. So,
How do you feel
how
about
you,
it?
I feel like I'm happy with the consistency that I've been showing up in. I'm happy like seeing you hop in. People seem like they've been responding to it very well. What I wish I would have done, and I talked to the producer about this, at the beginning tag certain influencers that I like to maybe join in or certain, and I can still, maybe I'll do it halfway through, like, hey, we're halfway through. You can hop in on the end of this challenge, whatever, just to get the momentum up. But I feel good. I feel good about it. I feel like I'm getting a little bit better every single day. A little bit goes a long way in the long haul. So it has been tough. I will not hold you. Like having to make sure you keep up on it, your everyday schedule, days can slip by you before you know it. It's 6 p.m., it's 8 p.m., it's 10 p.m. You're just like, oh, I didn't do my post today. I need to, like, and so, but that's also been good, just getting out of my own way and being like, well, you know what? I don't care what time it is. I'm going to just post it. We're going to do what we got to do because this is what we got. So, I don't know. I've been feeling good. How you been feeling?
I've been feeling really good. I feel like every day I learn, like even as someone that's in up in there studying,
It
learning,
is.
always with my ear to the ground about social media. I'm learning. I literally learn. I still learn about different platforms, what works, what doesn't work, because it's always changing and there are always
Mm-hmm.
new. Um, I promise I'm not a crackhead. I think something bit me right here, guys. Anyway, um,
Y'all
I
got
think
to
something
forgive us. We
bit
came
me.
from the crack. We came from the crack baby era. See, the crack baby era ended, I think, with us.
It was
We
like,
came from the crack. We came from the
yeah, you
crack
was just
baby
like
era. So
talking to you.
y'all ain't.
But anyway,
I don't think anybody from a later generation really done seen a crackhead before. It kind of fell off a little bit,
it's something to
but,
see.
but it's something to see.
Anyway, back to what I was saying. Back to what I was saying. But anyway, so
That sounds so
yeah, I
funny.
just
That was funny to me. Uh.
Tyrone Bigum.
Ooh. Oh,
Okay,
that's
anyway.
exactly what I thought about. Okay.
Um,
Go on.
but I promise, like it's been good. I'm learning. I'm growing. I kind of I haven't planned as much as I wanted to plan because I'm planning for everybody else, for all my clients. But it's growth, and it's just about showing up no matter what, no
Hmm.
matter what, and then
That's really it. Hmm.
continually to um, learn fast ways to do things. Like I like that because I'm still learning fast ways. So for the client that's like, what do I do? I don't have time to like sit up and do cat cut. Okay, well go to Instagram templates and then just drop your stuff in there and press play.
Hmm.
So and save templates that you like and then drop them in there and press play. So those are things I love learning about and love um, divulging and sharing. So I have like a whole lot of stuff planned that's coming that's going to launch. And so working on that simultaneously, working with clients simultaneously. The last couple of weeks it was graduation, so I had like back to back clients. I had another client today. She's an influencer working with the influencer today. So, um, but I will be dropping. I'm gonna give you a little secret about. Um,
Go ahead.
I'm gonna give y'all a little
You're
tea.
my little secret, and that's how we should keep it. Where everybody's mine.
This chair got
That oh,
okay.
it got the body roll. You got the body roll effect in the
No, it's okay.
chair.
Anyway, no, but okay. So, Joy Group from my company. I'm gonna just give y'all the real tea, the real lowdown. So, I'm a Christian, and I feel like God leads me to do certain things within my business, and I've been dealing. I don't want to say dealing like he's a drug dealer, but I've been working with God. And he's been speaking to me the same thing. I don't know if you've ever been through anything like that, Chris, but like I've been the same thing for like a year and a half. And you are a witness to
Yeah.
this. This was last year. I literally was doing the
Yeah.
same thing. And he was telling me the same thing. And
Yeah.
it's this verse in Philippians and basically says, help these women. And it's just talking about, he's asking the person he's writing to help these women get along and all this other stuff. But what was highlighted to me was help these women, and I knew that that meant on the social forefront that there are a lot of women who are so powerful, anointed, or just gifted, talented, and they literally just don't know have a clue about social media, but they know they're supposed to be on it. So, as a content coach, I developed a program. I've been working on it for a year, over a year, more like a year and a half to 2 years, and I'm finally going to release it in the way that I feel like I was supposed to release it. Everything else was like leading up to this, but it's really for those women who like know that they should be out there. They know they have a call. They know they have like a ministry or like a business or a brand that's supposed to help people, but they literally just do not have a lot of time to devote to social media, and they need support. They need expertise, they need coaching, they have some kind, sometimes there are things that like a lot of times it's little things that's stopping them, whether they aren't confident about how they show up visually yet, they need support, whether it's what to say or how to show up authentically and how to be confident and how to pose and all of that type of stuff. And not only will they get to get coached, but I work in the studio and a partner in the studio, and they get to literally complete the task. It's one thing for someone to tell
Wow.
you go do X, Y, and Z, and then you have to come back and do it. But it's another thing when someone comes to you and literally holds your hand and walks you through it. And so
Yeah.
that's what I will be getting to do for people, and I'm so excited about this. So that's the tea on what I'm working on and where my head's at. And so not just helping them, but coaching them and just really supporting them to get it actually done. So I look forward to that. And nobody's
Yes. Come
heard
on.
$7 new.
Come
This is
on.
new.
Shoot off the cannon. Pew, pew, pew. Pew, pew, pew. You heard it first here, ladies and gentlemen. The official
Drop, drop,
drop.
drop, drop, drop.
That is amazing. I'm so happy to hear about that. Yes, I know this has been a work in progress and you've been hearing that.
For
So
over a
I'm
year,
so happy to hear
like
that you're
almost 3
out
years.
here.
Crazy.
You're doing it. And that's amazing because I do think you have a lot to offer these young women, older women, mature
Any
women, any
age.
woman,
But
any woman.
honestly, it seems like I'm not limiting it at all. But the women that I've been supporting the most are older, like older than me, and just maybe 40s, 50s, even 60s, 30s, 40s, 50s. I mean, like they're busy. They have businesses. They have brands. They're over here trying to make sure the business is operating. They don't have time for social media, but they know they need to do it. So that one session a month that we have and all of their social media is completed on their side, it's just like a dream come true for them. So I can't.
Man, one session a month and everything you need for the month. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine going in and sitting down with someone and all the work you needed to get completed within 30 days or 31 days is completed in one session? That's amazing.
Yeah, it takes
That's
a lot of
amazing. That's
planning, but
exciting.
yeah, it takes a lot of planning, but it can be done. And when you got people that's what they do. And for a lot of people, you just need support. Like, it's not that you're not good enough. It's not that you're not
Hmm.
smart enough. It's not that you just can't do everything by yourself and you just need some support. So,
You can, and then that's one of the pillars that this podcast is founded on, right? Nobody does anything alone. People
yeah.
who told you they got where they got by themselves, they're a liar. The truth is not in them.
Ah,
Never trust them. They're lying to you because they did not get to where they needed to get to
lies.
by themselves. Lies,
Yes.
lies, lies, and
Lie.
lies. So that's
Did you grow
great.
up in a house where y'all couldn't say lie? Some people can't say
We
lie.
could not say lie. No. We couldn't say lie. We couldn't say shut up. We couldn't
Oh,
say
we would say a lot.
mm-mm,
We
mm-mm.
could.
The
We just
funny,
couldn't
yeah,
cuss.
we couldn't. No, we definitely cuss. Um,
My
we
parents
couldn't. I
never heard me
think
cuss to this day.
that's fair. I think my mom has maybe heard me say like one like the like he double hockey sticks or something like that, but like nothing that you would consider a serious curse word. Because my mom didn't really cuss. I never really heard curse words growing up, so it wasn't like a thing in the house to begin with. It wasn't like a I'm saying this, you don't say it type of deal. So,
I've never heard
but
my mother or my father curse. I don't think.
I have heard my mother get angry once before. Maybe twice in my lifetime, my 30 plus years on this earth, I've heard my mother get angry. And
Mhm.
and not to say anger has to exude that kind of behavior, but she was hot like fire. I'm talking about 911 hot.
Ah,
She was fire red hot. And, yes, one of them, yes, I won't get into one of those times, but, and then my dad, he was a good HE double hockey sticks person. He would say that quite often, I would say. He would be like, I guess because it was so many of us in the house and we just making so much noise, he would be like, what the hell is going on? He would just say that all the time. But that was probably it. That's all I really heard them say. And then my grandparents really never cursed. I just never really heard it in the house.
mhm.
So, yeah.
What about you, viewers? Are y'all cussing in front of your kids or not? Like, tell
Are
me,
you
drop
cursing in
in
front of your
the
kids?
or do
Have
you
you
try
heard?
not to?
Did you grow up
Do your kids
cursing in
curse in
front of
front
your
of you?
kid? Because I've been seeing a lot of videos with the kids is cussing.
They are
Cussing? You couldn't
they're
even cuss at.
cussing,
I feel like you used to get in trouble for cussing at school. I
baby.
think you just had to, yeah, you couldn't. Back when I was
Kids is
a little
cussing.
kid, the kids is cussing now. I don't remember the kids. I remember if you were in a friend group and someone cussed, that was like the big. Oh, I can't believe you said that. Oh my god, you so bad.
You so
What? Like it was like
bad
it
till
was
you hit
like
seventh grade. Then you just start cussing.
it was just everywhere, just hot off the presses. We was just. I saw this video though of this one woman who gave her daughter. She was like, "You seem like you saw. You know the video I'm talking about." She was like, "You look like you just got a lot. Go in the bathroom. I'm gonna give you 30 seconds. To just let them all rip." That baby was cussing like she was 67. She been here, baby. She was.
Like
She
she
had
been in
some
the
things on her
penitentiary.
chest. She had some things on her chest. People
Girl,
don't think kids be experiencing emotions. They do.
she was
They're
cussing
humans.
like she's fresh out the
Yeah.
penitentiary and then lost 5 bingo matches in a row.
That baby had stuff to say. I said, okay,
She
I
was
get it.
hot.
She was hot. Fire
You
engine hot.
blankety blank.
Okay. So
When
drop it
you
in the
got when you
comments.
got A1 cuss combinations, it's like
That's a different kind of breed. That made me think you
that's a different
something
type of
going
cussing.
on. You don't heard either someone in your aunt, an
Like 1-2
auntie,
punch,
uncle,
nah, you
cause
dropping
cause
them,
cause you
mixing them
don't you
together.
don't naturally put certain curse words together. Like that lady who got, she didn't curse, but that lady who got that lady together at that hearing, it was like bad built body butch. Like you don't naturally know how to do that
Peter,
kind of syndication off
baby,
the rip.
Peter
You either
Piper picked a
learn
peck of pickled peppers. Pneumatic device, alliteration up in here.
alliteration. You don't naturally know that. You don't
Badly
naturally
built,
know that.
body
You
blind,
beach
blah,
fine,
Becky,
bad beauty
bump
built.
face,
Mm.
bitter.
I'm gonna just say this about that situation. I don't understand why people come for people if you already feel like black people, especially black women, are ultra aggressive. Why would you come for this lady? Did you think
Baby.
she was gonna hold her decorum? which she still did. But did you think she was just gonna hold her decorum in this meeting and not come for you? You thought she couldn't eloquently get it on the record. Now you screaming, strike it from the record. We would like to strike it from the record. Okay, now you want to strike it from the record, girl. No. This is why
You cannot.
I don't appreciate. I was having this conversation with somebody the other day. Y'all didn't get popped in y'all mouth for stuff y'all said to people at school, and it really shows. We got a lot of internet
No,
bullies. We got a
no,
lot of internet bullies that people just say whatever they want because they
whatever. But
protected behind this screen.
yes, and you just let your inner thoughts win. Like you just letting whatever come in your little mind just
But
come
you
on
know
right
what
on, fly
trained
right
us
on
to
out your
not.
mouth.
You know what trained us to not let inner thoughts win? We know we could say whatever we wanted in real life, in IRL, but we knew we would have to pay for them consequences IRL, right? So if I want to say your shoes is busted in the back of the bus, I knew, baby, if you was Big Betty Bop Bop, I was gonna have to squabble up,
Quad, square up.
square up.
Drop your book
So
bag. Drop your book
drop
bag.
your book bag, and now we on the court.
They can't. Well, this one on one. This one on.
See, people don't people don't know that life today. Y'all don't know that life, and maybe it's a good thing, maybe it's a bad thing. It's giving people false inclination that they can say
But
whatever
I
they want to
but
say.
I'm gonna tell you the flip side of our internet. Them comments, okay. When I say the comments bring uplifting my soul, sometimes when they say I ran so fast to the comments, I skipped my knee
I be
running
seeing
these.
people.
I skipped my knee and rolled my ankle running these comments. Baby, them comments be lifting my day sometimes. Do you understand what I'm saying? I
Let
mean,
me
we
tell
really have
you,
some funny people in this
people are
world.
funny. This is what makes
Funny.
me know that people want to live in joy and laughter, and you
Yes.
don't want to be in pain because you out here and you know what you said is funny. You know we laughing
Funny.
at it.
I be
But
hollering.
you know what the flip side I just learned about comments is? This girl just showed how the algorithm um reflects comments for certain profiles, specifically men and women.
Oh, snap.
She was looking at a post about something. She sent it to her boyfriend who was sitting right next to her. And the comments that came up automatically were completely different.
Wow.
They had organized the comments based on what they thought he wanted to see and based on what they thought she wanted to see.
So it
So you
knows
don't
my sense of
always
humor at
see
this point?
it all.
Creepy.
Yeah, it's a little invasive, but
Baby, I be hollering. So it must be a good job,
it
okay?
must be a good job because I always see the comments I'm looking for.
But what it must be like to be famous and like have people commenting on you. Like, are you laughing? Are you crying? Do you look like that has gotta be in freaking tense.
I feel like the like true people who really operate in humanity and out of like good intent, who make the funny comments or make that, it probably does bring a smile to their day. Can they say it publicly? Probably not, because what's the risk of me saying it and you turn out to be a hole, or you turn out to be a psychopath or whatever. But you probably did bring a smile to my face if I'm looking at all these comments and you just are like, so funny, you said something that I was thinking or whatever. On the
Okay.
flip side though, I've heard a lot of people say all it they could I've heard several people say they could read 1,000 great comments and they see the one and that's what they harp on
Yeah.
for the rest of the day.
So do you feel like, well, I probably would never do that because who got time to be deleting comments? But like,
Yeah, nobody has time for
who
that.
has time for that? But like, take for instance, I was watching another podcast and they had like, I'll talk about it. So it was Jonathan McReynolds. He has a podcast. He's a a Christian
Oh
artist, and he
yeah,
had
I've listened to his podcast before. It's good.
yeah, yeah, it's funny, and he had Israel Houghton
Okay,
on
yeah, I
his
haven't seen that.
podcast,
I haven't seen that one
and
yet.
I love Israel, but he was talking
Mm-hmm.
about his journey, about how his previous marriage, how he was unfaithful in his previous marriage, and his journey to
Yeah,
like being in his current marriage and having to confess to Adrian
Adrian
is his wife,
Balong. Mm-hmm.
about the fact that he was unfaithful in his last marriage. Like he was gonna have to tell her the truth.
Oh,
And
yeah, because that really wasn't public knowledge. So
yeah, it
he
wasn't.
chose to share that with her.
Yeah, he had to
Great.
tell. He felt like he
Okay.
had to tell her to be honest. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, he had to tell her because he has a child.
No, he had to. He didn't have to tell her, but he had to tell her. You know what I mean?
No, he had
Like
to tell.
he.
He has a child by somebody else, so like he had to tell her. Like it was
Oh,
gonna
he didn't
come
have a
out.
choice. Oh,
Like
okay,
it,
gotcha,
it
gotcha,
was
gotcha,
it
gotcha,
was
gotcha.
it was blatant, right? But he had to
Yeah,
tell her like everything that would. I mean, granted,
he
you
could have
got
lied
some
about the
like who the
situation.
f that I'm marrying. He didn't tell her nothing, but he had to, like if you want to be with somebody, you're gonna have to tell them the truth. Okay, right. So anyway, but he was just telling how her response and how it was just like helping him to understand that he's not what he's done. He's who he is not what he's done. Like, yes, he might have made
Hmm.
some mistakes, but that's not who he is. But people were lighting this man up in these comments. I mean, they were lighting him up based off of like what 45-second clip. I mean, I was just stunned. I mean, they were
Were
taking him
you
to
really
the.
though? People
I
do that
mean,
all the time,
I
Tara.
mean,
People
I
all
know,
the
I know.
time.
But hear me out, hear me out. 45 seconds and they're like running him down like they know this man. Like they know this man. And they y'all haven't even watched the whole episode. So for me it was just like woo. But it's like, are you as a creator, are you could feel some type of way about that, but people are arguing in the comments, which is making your comments go up, which is moving your
Mm-hmm.
content around. So are you
Mm-hmm.
really mad because even though it's negative, it's still moving your content and it's still
See,
making your content
that's
almost go viral. So how do you
you're
really?
looking at the silver lining, which a lot of people can't do when negativity is the source, right? So you're looking at it as like, okay, the silver lining is this is boosting my content, but it's also magnifying my fault, which is still could be a burden to someone.
Mhm.
I feel like we never nobody you can get to a point where you can get solidified in who you are, and like
Yeah, I
you can
think
see a
he's there though.
comment and
He seems like he don't
you
care.
right, you can see it, and even it may resonate you for just a second and you move on, because nobody is exempt from pain,
Mm-hmm.
right? But I feel like for a lot of people, especially when you're coming up, because he has been famous for how long now? Decades.
Like 30 years.
Since we were small. So, I mean, I can't even tell you how many times I've seen this man live.
Yeah,
Like, so he's probably at a point where it's like, I don't care. My wife don't say this. I'm
right.
married. I got my
I'm
kids.
living my
Y'all can.
life.
I'm living my life. I'm doing what I need to do. Y'all gonna say what y'all want to say, because people do that all the time off the 30-second clips. I'll never
Right.
forget one thing that I have taken with me, and I'm nowhere near the famous status. If I would be honest, I would love to get to the point that God wants me to get to without having to be famous or being in the front line. I don't know if that's possible, but I'm also going to take this earring off because I feel like it is bopping this. Y'all still bear with me. We're still getting our technology together, so I am using headphones. But yeah, I feel like people don't want to look for the negativity, but there were studies that show how quickly a mass of negativity would take over a smaller, like I'm using this as an example. It wasn't actually called negative energy and positive energy, but they were looking at cells that are like cancerous or cells that are just not good, and how quickly it takes over the good,
Mm.
right? And so I'll never forget. I heard Kevin on Stage, which is a comedian, content creator that I really love. He's very funny. He was talking about how him and his wife have several podcasts together, but they had this one podcast, and there were comments about her cutting people off and just certain things like that. And she really took that into account. She was like, okay, I'm trying to do better. And this one person one day came in the comments and it was like, I can't stand it. Miss Kim, she just keeps cutting her guests off. She's a bad interviewer, blah, 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 blah. And so she came on, his wife came on under the comment, was like, I'm really trying. I've been seeing these comments, I felt like I was doing better, blah, blah, blah. And the girl came under and was like, girl, I was just PMS and that was my bad. I was just having a bad day.
That's
So
weird.
you just really never know when the point of that for me was just, you just really never know. Somebody's just having a bad day and they're just taking it out on you. How
A
many
hundred
times do we
percent.
hear that you're just taking your feelings out on me and I'm not the target, but I'm just the closest thing you have to take it out on?
Mm-hmm.
So
True.
I just feel like
Can I
that's
add
the
to
way
that
you
though?
have to do that. Yeah.
I literally do hate. It's like one of my biggest pet peeves when people are interviewing people and they cut them off. That's like one of my biggest pet peeves. Like I literally hate it. So although she was probably, oops, sorry guys. Although she was probably like really, how do I say this? Well meaning, it is really annoying. Because, like, why are you bringing your guests on here to interrupt them the
Journalism is a
all the
skill, though.
time?
Journalism is a taught skill. It's one of those skills people think you can learn it in school and you can learn it out of school, but a lot of people have not taken the time to learn journalism. I'll say this. One, I'll say that comment was unwarranted because I had seen the growth that she had been doing. The episode that lady commented on, she really wasn't doing that anymore.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
So it
I
was just
get
kind of
that.
like unwarranted at that point. You're just harping on what you've seen other people say or what you have
Yes.
seen in other episodes. And then that's why she came under it and was like, I really actually feel like I'm doing way better. I've been getting good feedback I've been asking, blah, blah, blah. And then that's when that lady had to be like, actually, I was just having a bad day.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just
Yeah,
taking it on you. But I get you. I don't like
I
that.
really hate
That's one
it.
of the reasons I couldn't watch the Tyra show. Because journalism, girl, why are you cutting all these people off all the time? Just let them
I
talk.
literally, it's one of my biggest pet peeves in the whole wide world. I just feel like if we wanted to hear you talk, you should just talk by yourself. But you have a guest, and you need to just. And this is my issue too. Like when people are telling really in depth stories with really sensitive issues, and they're like interrupting them, and then they have to like go back and try to go back to that moment, and then pick up from there, and
Mm.
then it's just the storytelling is just thrown off. I hate that.
It's not
Just
just the
let them get through
storytelling.
it.
Yeah. You let them get through it. And I'm saying this as someone who eventually wants to have a talk show one day or something of the sort and studying that.
Just let them
You
get through it
actually get to the nitty gritty faster when you just let people
faster.
talk.
That's what I'm
If you just let them
saying.
talk, they will expunge it.
Just let them talk.
That's all you really have to do. That's a
That's
free
all you have to
tidbit for you.
do.
That's a free tidbit for y'all out
I
there.
hate it. I
If
hate
you
it.
are on a show, even if you have a podcast and it's more interview style versus conversational, let
I
them get it off. Just let them
just let
until
them
you feel
talk.
like there's an organic moment. Not when you feel like you
Right.
want but see, this is where active listening comes into play. Because see, I feel like I'm cutting you off because I gotta ask you a question or I gotta say something right at the moment you say something. But if I'm actively listening, I have digested what you say. And then when you end, I can come back and we go
Come back.
that's organic conversation is a circle.
Hmm.
It just keeps coming back on around. You say something, I'm saying something, I'm saying. And so, but you can't break the circle. Once you break the circle, other elements are coming into play.
Yeah, and
So
I just feel like also, and we're gonna move on because this wasn't even our notes, but I just really feel like also, can I just get this off my chest? Um, if you just wait, you're going to get the story. And also, you don't have to break down and analyze what they're telling you in the moment. That is not the moment to break down. So what you're saying is blah blah blah, and what really happened is no, this is not the moment for that. The moment is for you to let them tell what happened, and then you go back and ask questions. Oh, so what was the hardest part about that? You know what I'm saying? Like, just go back and ask and get more that you didn't get. But to like not let people get their story off in the world of podcasting, come on, podcasters, let's do better with data reading because I don't know
well,
why they
see, that's not what a
as
lot of
a viewer.
people. A lot of people aren't trying to do that though, Tara. A lot of people are trying to evoke drama or evoke that moment that they can get a
But
clip, that 45-second clip to make them go viral, or they don't want organic
no,
conversation.
and it's not conversation. For me, I just feel like I would love to see people be able to tell their real story. If you bring a guest on your show, let them talk. This is not the time to talk about how much you know. This is time to let them talk. I don't know. As a viewer, I'm not saying this as like an interviewer. I'm just saying this as a person watching. Can y'all just
I
let these
agree
people talk when y'all bring them on y'all show? That's all I want to say. I'm
wholeheartedly.
done.
Let
I'm
them
done.
get their thought off. Let them get. I agree. I completely
I'm done.
agree, and I got a lot of thoughts about that because I've been on both ends of the spectrum. So we can talk about that another time because I can keep going deep, 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 deep into what Kendrick say. I can go deeper, I promise, if I wanted to. But, let the people talk is all we saying. Just give them a space, give them their time, and wait till they're finished. It's not that hard.
Yes, to just let them get their story out. As a viewer, as a listener, please stop. Please just stop interrupting them. Thank you.
I've had to
Okay.
stop listening to podcasts because they
Because
weren't
I
getting
can't take it. I literally can't take it. I literally can't. It literally, no, I'm just joking. It literally gets on my last nerves. I don't know why. It's like, would you just let them talk,
because
please?
you can kind of feel where someone's going with something, and then when they get cut off from it, it's like, man,
You
are we actually ever going to get to the point where they were going?
It's like, okay, for me, it's likened to a commercial, a bad commercial. It's just like, we're getting to the drama, and you're
Or a badly
interrupting
placed, you mean
them.
a badly placed commercial? That's
Badly
what you mean?
placed
Like
commercial. We
YouTube, how
don't care
YouTube be
about.
putting it, how YouTube puts a ad right when you get into the depth of something. And you're like, why would you place an ad there? You did that on purpose because you want me to subscribe. I'm not going to do it.
I would even be okay if you came on the scene and just was like, I know this is getting juicy, y'all. Just subscribe to our channel real quick. Okay, bye. Here you go. I would be okay
You
with
can
that. Then
insert
you
that.
just,
You can
huh?
insert that. You can insert that
I would be
post.
I would be more okay with that than you just like trying to break down every little thing they say and throwing off the rhythm of the moment
Again,
of
that
these
goes
people
back to
telling their deep stories. That irritates me.
communication, that goes back to journalism, that goes back to, like I said, I can go deeper, I promise. Let's just
The
hop
only time I
into
tolerate it if it's a well placed joke. If it's a well placed joke, I'm okay with that. But if it's just like a you wanna drop your gems from their story, no, it's not. This not your time. This not your time to
not
shine.
drop your gems from their story. Wow.
Yeah, people be like, yeah, because then I had a time where I felt, no, this is not your
Didn't we have this
time.
conversation? Didn't we have this conversation? It's not your time to
It's
talk.
not your time to talk. It's your time to listen.
What the kindergarten teachers used to do? Mm-mm, mm-mm,
Two.
mm-mm. Two ears, one mouth. Two ears, one mouth. We listen. Yeah, that's
Listening. It's listening. It's the listening for
It's the
me.
little me.
Shut up. Please. Please. Stop
Oh my
it. Stop
goodness.
interrupting your guests. It's rude.
And this is the last thing I'm gonna say about that. Because we have had a
Sorry.
conversation about interrupting people when it's their time.
That's my
And I'm not saying nobody is born with that skill. You have to train yourself. I'm telling you. You have to train yourself to listen. Listen to not respond, but listen to understand. Listen to just be there to listen. Save your thoughts and make sure your thoughts are in agreement with the flow of the conversation. Don't
yeah,
just add something that doesn't add value in those situations.
yeah,
Like it's a trait. This is why I ain't gonna hold you. I'm on the train that feels like journalism is a lost art at this point.
mhm,
People are just picking up microphones. They're just picking up whatever. They're just saying whatever, getting on. And I get it. You feel like you got something to say. I'm one of the people who feel like I got something to say. But at the end of the day, I also want to make sure that the other people that are with me, my co-hosts, have something to say, and that I'm being respectful, and that I'm giving them the space to get their thoughts out in totality and get their stories out and say what they need to say. And people just they just sometimes you're just eager to say something, sometimes you just feel excited. We've had this conversation before. If you want to know more about this, we have a podcast episode that was probably like 2 or 3 episodes before this, where we talked extensively about really giving people their time to say what they need to say and giving them the space and the safety and the safe space that they needed to be able to say and get their full thoughts off. As our wise co-host Tarrah said, if you would just let me finish my sentence, you would know the full thought and you would be able to respond to the full thought. Don't respond to the half thought, ladies and gentlemen. Let them get their full thought out before you try to get it popping off.
I think for me, I also am appreciate good storytelling. Like I love
Mm-hmm.
good storytelling. It's an art. It's so beautiful, and so I just hate to interrupt the story when it's getting good because it
Fair.
throws the storyteller off. But I understand, and I have empathy for people who are having the courage to get up and do a podcast and share stories and all of that. And there are some huge podcasters that are like really they really be interrupting people. But here's the thing, like you said, like you said, I think that for Kevin Sage wife, I think the humility that she showed to be able to listen to her audience and say, hey, you have something special here, but if you did this, that would make it a lot better.
She
And
didn't
I'm
say it
able
that
to
nice. I think you're really making it way more nice than that lady made
I
the comment.
mean, the idea of the fact that hey, you're interrupting. We like your podcast, but you're interrupting your
There
guests,
was
and you're
no we
giving
like
them.
it at all. It was I hate everything that's happening.
Oh, okay. Well,
It was a
here's the
very
things that you
negative
can do.
comment. It was a very negative. There's a difference between pure negativity. That's why I said that negativity. There's a difference between where you feel like it's constructive criticism versus either you're just hopping on the bandwagon of comments you've seen, or you're really just trying to be
Oh,
mean, or you're just like saying whatever and it doesn't make any kind of sense.
yeah.
Like,
No,
yeah.
I was really referring to just the feedback that she got in totality, not from that
Yes.
one specific me lady, but or PMSing lady. But which brings me to my next top. No PMS. No, I'm just joking. But we really do need to talk
We
about
can
that.
talk
How that
about
affects
that, yeah,
relationships and
because
friendships,
good
because that's a real thing.
Lord, that's a very real thing. They
That's a
have
really
made
thing.
it very funny in pop culture, but it's a very real thing.
It's a very real thing. I would never get into it with my significant other until it was like PMS. Until it was PMS.
I have snapped on people who had to come back and apologize because I knew for a
Apologize.
fact it was because I was
It's like,
PMSing.
oh,
I'm
my period's
like,
coming. I'm so much. Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm like, it's like a roller coaster. You start coming down, and your mind, the cloudiness just leave, and you're just like, oh, why was I acting
Oh,
like that?
it was
Oh,
this.
I feel so much better.
It was this meme. It was like when I'm crying and then I get my period and I'm like, I knew I wasn't no weak bee.
I wasn't no weak bee. I knew I wasn't no punk. I knew my cycle was coming. Cause who just be crying out the blue like that?
Just
I knew I was a
crying,
gangster. I
crying.
said, oh, okay. That's
Me,
fair. Yes,
me
we
and
can
my
talk about that.
sister literally do not talk. When we can both get our cycle at the same time. We will not talk.
Wait, both or you don't have to say which one? First or
Me,
second?
the oldest, we get our cycle at the
Okay.
same time. So literally, we don't talk to each
Oh,
other.
she already cutthroat though. So I can imagine when she be at that moment, baby, it is nothing.
We don't talk to each other. It'd be like, I'll talk to y'all next week. I'll talk to y'all next week. My mind ain't doing what it need to do.
My mind, my mind is gone. My mind is just it's in the atmosphere somewhere. I'm trying to get it
But
back, please.
here's the thing, y'all. For real, for real. This is a real conversation because I was in therapy at one time, as we all should be at one point. And by the time you hit your 30s, you should have been in therapy for something.
Everybody got something to talk to somebody about. Remember
Yes.
that.
By the time you in your 30s, you got something to say. But anyway,
Okay.
okay, so I'm in therapy and my therapist is like, that's so funny to say out loud. And my therapist was like, no, seriously. She was like, PMS is a real thing. I have clients that, while they're that week, it's like a dark cloud over them. And then after the next week, they're fine. And so we really have to be if you got to put it on your schedule, like we really got to be conscious of the fact that we feel like the filter's not there, the gate is like lifted, you know what I'm saying? You're much more sensitive, you're much more vulnerable, things that you would normally not say, you do say. You're more irritable, so that definitely affects relationships. So we gotta be working on, we gotta be cognizant of that because that's a real great. It
That's
can
a
really wreck
very
a
real thing.
relationship for sure.
It can demolish
For real.
for real. You would think this person. You remember? Have you ever seen "Don't Be a Menace to South Central" while drinking your juice in the hood with the
I haven't
Wayans
seen it in
brothers?
so long. In so
But
long.
you remember when she started taking all her body parts off, and he was just like, "That's kind of how it be when you be with people," and then you just start and then they be like, "Oh my God, why are you taking all this off?" She was taking legs and eyelashes off. He was like, "Ugh." It's like real scared, real life scared.
That's
But
hilarious. Which was that based on that same like that episode of Fresh Prince when Gina was on there from Martin's
yes,
Campbell
and
where
they
she was
was
like in the
in
basement,
the basement,
stuck in the
sitting on the
basement,
trash
sitting on the
can. Girl,
tricycle,
getting
girl,
on my
getting on my
nerves.
nerves. I'm going out
Going
of my
out of
mind.
my
I thought
mind. I
she
thought
was
she was
fine. Don't
fine.
know
Don't
if her
know
body
if her
is
body is
hers.
hers. Here, here,
Here.
here, here, here.
Make yourself sandwich. Get it yourself. Or what did she say? Something like this.
He was like, "Baby, I can't open this. Why don't you use your nails or something?" She's like, "Here, here, 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 here." Ooh, wee comedy.
That was
Okay.
iconic. That was an iconic scene.
Oh
She was
God,
doing
we about to get into a conversation about all kind of television shows first, but I really did want to talk to you about this as an artist. And I really want to get like a little bit of your input. We don't have to go deep into it, but did you see Apple Music's 100 best albums ever made? Did you
wow.
get a list? Did you get a peek at those 100 albums at
I
all?
did not get a peek at that whole entire list. I'm seeing here what you have here as what top number
I
one,
put
and I'm
some
pleased with
things
that.
in. You please with that being the number one album best made of all time.
No, I would say Thriller has to be number one, but I think that could have been
Thriller
like
was in the
number
top.
five.
I think Thriller was two. I think Thriller was
But
two.
what
Let me
put
see.
this over Thriller is what I'm trying to understand.
I have not seen context. I've seen where there have been some like videos trying to explain it. My thing was what put that over Thriller for sure. Because
Yeah,
when
I
you
think Thriller should be
really
number
look
one.
at Thriller,
Yeah, I
When
think
you
so too.
really look, we're not just talking about the memorability of that album, like hit for hit,
Hit for
that
hit,
whole album.
whole
This is why
album.
they said he kept chasing that with every album, because that album was so big,
So big.
right?
I don't understand how you could not put Thriller as number one. Because if you, it's
Yeah.
like, if it's like take Thriller out of the world, like Thriller never happened. Okay, take it away. All that you're taking away,
The influence of the
the
songs we probably would
influence,
never see,
like the jacket, the
the
moonwalk,
glove, the
all of that.
socks, the moonwalk,
You
the
know,
combination of video and movie, mini
how
movie.
Thriller changed MTV, revolutionized music videos. Like if you take away that album, you take away Human Nature, you take away all of the, you know what I'm saying? Um uh is it let's look what
Let's
was
look at the
on.
track list, because Thriller got hit
Let's
for
look at the
hit. So
track
we
list from
got
Thriller.
we got The Girl Is Mine, which people sleep on
The
that, but I like
girl
it.
is mine.
Mine,
The
mine,
doggone girl
mine
is mine.
is mine. We got Billie Jean.
Billie Jean, the iconic. You take away Thriller, there's no iconic Motown. Billie Jean,
We
you
got
don't have
Beat
that.
It. We got
Beat
Beat It.
It.
Subway.
You take away that,
We got that's gone.
you cannot not give that number
We
one.
got
Who's
Wanna
in
Be
charge?
Starting Something gone. Wanna be starting something.
Something.
We got to be starting something. We want to be starting. We got nothing. We got no Human Nature. We ain't got no PYT. We don't have no band
PYT.
anthem. No band, no black marching band anthem, period. People was playing, we was playing PYT as a marching band in 2006. You want to know what Thriller came out? 1982. We was
1982,
playing
yo.
PYT as a marching band, dancing. PYT, the young thing, oh, it's so good, so good.
Not
In
you.
2006, there's no marching band anthem. That's crazy. You had Thriller.
How
That's
can you
real
not give
crazy.
Thriller number one? You cannot take, like, if Thriller never happened.
Every single song on this album was in the top 10 category. Every single one. I don't think there's been an album that's ever happened with ever after.
I'm
I'm
sorry.
talking about every
I
single
as
track
much as
listing.
I love,
He dropped
I
every song from the album and it was a top 10.
yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. But here's the thing. I feel like Miseducation could have been like number four, number five, number
It could have
three,
been in the top 10 maybe.
but not, but not number one. Not
Number
when Thriller
one,
exists.
what baffled me, they put that over the Thriller, songs in a Stevie
Songs in
Wonder.
a minor, key of a minor. Stevie Wonder.
Stephenopoulos Wonder.
Stephen Bartholomew Jackson. Serious Wonder. No, ma'am. You can't
Absolutely
be.
not.
In the key
Somebody is
of a minor.
lying.
Somebody lying.
Somebody lying. This was also my quorum. There were two other things I wanted to talk about this.
Songs in the key of life.
Songs in
Songs
the
in the
key
key
of
of
life. I'm
life.
sorry,
That's on
A
the track
minor
list.
was Alicia Keys, my bad. Songs
Songs
in the
in the
key of
key of
life.
life.
But Stevie Wonder did make it twice. His albums are back to back, I think.
Nah,
Songs in
that
the
should have
key
been
of,
like number two. Songs
and
in the
look how
key of life
far
is
they
like,
down. They far down. They far down. They ain't even in the
what should
top
have been number two
10.
though?
Let me look at the list. Number 2 could have been,
Sir Duke, if it's magic. That is such a beautiful song. Okay, Anita Baker should have been up there. Anita Baker should have been
this
there.
was the
Up there.
conversation I wanted to have, right? Because we think about these iconic people. That's a good segue. So let's talk about it. Whitney Houston not on there, right? Whitney Houston, not one Whitney Houston album. Hear me out. I'm gonna say something that's not. I don't think it's an
She had a lot
unpopular
of
opinion.
singles
I was
as
about to
last
say
year's
it may
album.
be a controversial take, but does Whitney have a banger album? Like, and we can't count The Bodyguard because that wasn't her album,
Or
and
we
she
can't count Waited to
the
Exhale. She was queen of soundtracks, I feel like. She had more
but
soundtrack
album
movie hits.
wise, one
But album wise,
album,
no.
I don't think she got a banger album.
Yeah, she didn't kill album.
I feel like I'm taking the biggest
Me.
step back, like A. Marie. Oh, like for real, because I don't think she got a banger. What she had bangers, but not a banger album. So I'm
Not
not
banger
mad at
album.
her now. But who I am mad about not
Purple
being on there,
Rain. Purple Rain was 4. That's fair.
who I'm mad about not being on there at all, is Mariah Carey.
Yeah, Mariah Carey should have been on there.
She should have been on
She
there.
should have been top
If
10
not
for
for
sure.
Butterfly, the
No, that
emancipation
old
of
one.
Mimi.
Yeah, she had a few. She had a few. Whichever the one with Vision of Love on. What? Wait, which one is
That
that?
was self-titled, I believe. Mariah Carey self-titled.
Always Be My Baby. Which one is that on?
That's on Butterfly.
Yeah, she should have been on that top 10.
Let me look, cause yeah, she should have been there with her discography. And
All my Butterfly wasn't Always Be My Baby. That was I knew it. So
let's see, there's a lot of footnotes. Good lord. Oh, here we go. Was it Daydream? Was it? It couldn't have been Emotions. Was it
uh,
Daydream?
it, it could have been Emotions. Mariah Carey highest selling album.
Mm, no, I think it was the one after Emotions. Not. I think it was the one before Butterfly. Yes, it was the one before Butterfly, Daydream, because that's the one that had One
Daydream,
Sweet
yeah,
Day
with that
on it.
black and white.
One
With that
Sweet
black and
Day,
white.
Fantasy, Always
She
Be
should have
My
been on there.
Baby. Like, she didn't make it at all. And I ain't gonna hold you. I love a ballad, Mariah. And those first few albums, they're gonna always be in rotation. I got the CDs to prove it right on my bookshelf. But the Emancipation of Mimi, one of her best albums. It's top two for me. It's top
Nah,
two.
Daydreaming
It's
ain't
top
it.
two.
Daydreaming ain't
It's
it. It
top
ain't
two
have
for
all the big
me.
hits on there.
It's
I'm
top.
trying to
It's
see.
not even about. Well, Emancipation Mimi did have a lot of hits, but it's no skips for me. Emancipation Mimi ain't got not one skip for me.
How you gonna
I'm
listen
listening
to it?
to it
Because it
from the
had a lot of.
beginning.
It had P Diddy on there. Now you okay?
No, it had Snoop Dogg. Not P
Oh.
Diddy. Don't put P Diddy into that. See, don't be sprinkling that mess over here. That was Pharrell and Snoop Dogg. P Diddy over there. He over there. You're not over here with the Emancipation of Mimi.
So
Uh,
what? Yeah, she could have been on there, but I think Thriller should have been number one. Let's look at the track list from for I mean, yes, she had about 5 hits on there, but
she
Thriller
had
like the
hits,
whole
and
album.
I don't even know if it was. I don't think they based it off of hits per se versus like a little. I feel like a
Holistically,
little bit holistically cultural, like appreciation, what it did to pop culture, like the shifts that it made, the doors that it opened.
I'm
I feel
sorry.
like, but I don't think it did as much as Thriller did. I don't agree with
No, I
that.
think Thriller should have been number one.
I think Thriller should have been number one for
I think
sure.
Songs in the Key of Life should have possibly been number two, and then she should have been number three.
Songs in the Kid Life should have been in the top five for sure for me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I would have even put a second Michael Jackson album on there, but
Bad.
Bad would have been
Bad.
on there for me.
Bad should have been on there. He should have had two up there.
He
If
should have
they
had two up
really,
there.
if they really want to be treat them nice and do them right, he should have had two.
He should have
He
had
should have had
two.
Bad up there too. Honestly,
Yeah,
because
I
what was
agree
on
with that.
Bad? Let's look.
All right. Bad, bad. Really, really bad. Y'all ain't gonna tell. That man was doing his own background vocals.
And beatboxing.
And like, y'all crazy. Y'all crazy. People just be saying anything. They don't even really be thinking about
Liberian Man in
it.
the Mirror is on bad. Man in the Mirror, bad. The way you make me feel.
The way you made me feel. Just another part of me. Dun,
Dirty
dun, dun, dun,
Diana.
dun, 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 dun. Yup.
Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Smooth Criminal. Y'all didn't get it. Y'all didn't put this on there. Y'all wildin'. Y'all wildin'. Y'all didn't want to give that man his credit. Y'all didn't want to give that man his credit.
That's fine.
Bad. You had bad. Man in the Mirror. Smooth Criminal. The way you make me feel. Leave me alone. Dirty Diana. All on one album. That's 6 major hits.
Hit after hit after hit.
Hit after
And we
hit.
had, let's see, Smooth Criminal had a video, Bad had a video, Man in the Mirror had a video, Liberian Girl had a video,
Yeah.
and Dirty Diana had a video. That's 1, 2, 3,
Boom,
4, 5, 6
boom,
videos
boom,
off of
boom,
one album.
boom.
People ain't doing that today. People not doing 6
That's right.
videos off one.
Boom.
People not
Boom.
doing that off of albums no
They not.
more.
They are not giving you 6 flat out smoking hits on one album. It's not happening.
And videos to go with every hit.
And
These weren't just
video.
radio hits. These were on MTV's top 10.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, they should have gave him bad. They should have gave him bad
But
for sure.
but you gotta look at, like, this goes back to the team. Who did those 2 albums with him? Quincy Bartholomew Jones.
But see, when we think about it, when you start thinking about like hit producers like Quincy and all that, they're not showing up as much on this list as you would think,
Mm,
which is kind of telling a little bit for me.
mm.
But what do
But
I know?
if you listen to, I've watched like several interviews about the making of the Thriller album, and they basically say they went through like 500 songs. It's a ridiculous number. It's like an
Yeah, I've
astronomical
seen
number
some videos about that before.
that they went through to get those 9 songs, and how many cuts they cut and cut and cut and cut and cut and cut to get those 9, like, hit
Yeah.
almost like every song's a banger, no skip songs.
Which is kind of crazy because, like, that that's not happening today.
Absolutely
First
not.
of all, how do you, as your third studio album, have 200 songs that you just running through? Like, because he had Off the Wall, then he had Thriller, and then it was Bad, right?
Hmm.
And you
But they
still
were
got
saying
200 songs? And you
no.
done gave us
Well,
Off the Wall and Thriller?
no. What I'm saying is to find the right song for him. I'm not saying
Mm,
every song he had already recorded. These are songs that they were like trying to pick to fit this compilation of what they were trying to evoke, and what they were
mm,
trying to do was make an album that was a 2 to 3 album household. So it had
yeah,
something for every generation
which it
that could
did.
that could connect with every generation, which they did, which they accomplished.
Hmm.
So they went through all of this material, and if you're Quincy Jones, you got material coming from everywhere. You can pull the best of the best of the best from all over the globe. So they
That's
were
true.
like pulling the material from everywhere to try to say, does Michael like this? Does it fit his appeal? Does it make you want to dance? Does it have, who's our target audience? It was marketing, actually. It was like they're looking at their target audience. Will this resonate with them? Does it resonate with Michael? They were sharing about that. And so they just took all this big bank of songwriters that they were
But to
working with,
have
like
that
cut and
many
cut and cut and cut and
songs
cut.
for one person that you think they could spin like that, that's not common.
Yeah. But
That's
you're
not common.
doing
People be bouncing from producer to producer trying to find a song, just the right song for this one artist.
I
And
think
you mean to tell me you're thinking like we could have these 200, we're going to go through these 200 and not saying you thought all of them were bangers obviously, but it's like knew this man had what it took for
I
to
think I think
flip these.
I think it also it shows the power of trusting and the
Mm-hmm.
power of two like of synergy of genius minds coming together.
Mm-hmm.
Like you might be a genius in your own right.
You
Yes.
trusted
Michael
people to do
Jackson,
their job.
right, trusting him to do his job. And
Trusted
his
people to do their
job
job.
was to
Mm-hmm.
give you the best
Mm-hmm.
balanced, sound, cohesive art piece of
Yeah.
art possible.
Yeah.
And he is, and not only is was he a producer, but he's like a songwriter, a composer, or arranger. So you have the most skilled, best of the best. He's got gospel roots. He's got, blues
I
roots.
mean, he had everything.
He's
He
got
really had
classical.
everything.
He had everything
He
that you
knew
needed.
visuals. He knew
Visuals, like he understood, he really understood. So to have the genius of a Michael Jackson and then the genius of and then have
it was a
all the
powerhouse.
genius, yeah, and the genius gonna have a genius team.
Mm-hmm.
So he's gonna have the best on boards, the best on guitar, the best on lead, the best on bass. He's gonna have the
Mm-hmm.
best. And so you get around the best and you put all the best together and you have this synergy in this
Yeah.
team. It can't be beat. Like uh hopping from producer to producer, it's gonna create this like disconnect, I think.
Well, that's why you have those producers. This could, good grief, this could be a conversation that goes on and on and on because you know the producers who gonna give you that full body of work that you're looking for to make the album an album, not just a collection of songs, but like a whole like
Like a art,
a
a piece
sequence.
of
Yes,
art.
a piece of art
Yeah,
essentially.
they really
I
did.
ain't gonna hold you. This ain't got to be in the top 100, but Invincible was also my jam.
Invincible is good.
Invincible,
It was good. It was good. Let's look at the
you rock
Invincible
my
track list. You rock my world.
Invincible,
He ate
like
that.
Heartbreaker, Unbreakable. Listen, that was mine. He had went full white face on that cover, but I ain't gonna hold that against him because that was just sketch art. Yes, so I agree with that. Agree with
You
that.
know
Just wanted to
what
get
I
your two
think was a
points.
very cohesive album, and I wonder if it fell anywhere on there.
What?
Butterflies. Dang, that was butterflies. That was a good album.
Inside, you had. It's so good. You had a whole remake, and you still knew it was Michael Jackson.
That was so good.
I could
I got to go back and
be
listen.
with
Give you
you tonight
tonight. You
if
give
you
me,
give me.
you give me butterfly inside. Okay, anyway. So,
I'm agreement. I
can we
think
talk
Thriller
about the
should have been number
fact?
one.
Can we also talk about the fact that this was a very good album, and I think this was very innovative. And I say
Talking about
good.
Lauryn Hill, Miseducation of Lauryn Hill.
No, no, no. I think this another album that could have been on the top 10 hip hop.
What?
That double album with Speakerbox and the Love Below.
The love. Yeah, yeah. You're
That was
absolutely
like
right.
that
You're
that that
absolutely right. When you're
that
right, you're
Andre
right.
3000
When you're
with
right, you're
Prototype on
right. There is not a Andre 3000 nor Big Boy album separate on here.
there. Hey y'all,
Nor is there. There's
that was
Aquemini. Aquemini's on there, and I get why. I get. This is why I said I feel like they were trying to do albums that had a a um a visual cultural shift that you could see that had
okay. That makes sense. That makes sense.
that birthed genres and birthed artists after them, right? So it's like if this didn't exist, we wouldn't have XYZ, right?
But
Which I
you have to
get.
give
But
you have to
but
give
that
Thriller that
album,
number
you
one.
exactly.
If you're
Thriller
going after
has to be
that,
number
Thriller should have been
one.
number one.
Thriller
Yeah.
has to be number one
I'm
because
sorry.
if
I
we're
stand
going to
on
be
that.
honest, we ain't never had another Lauryn Hill.
We don't have Lauryn Hill impersonators. Like I'm just saying, like we have 5 billion Michael Jackson impersonators. Everybody was touched
And
by
we have
what he
people
did.
who are who we have deemed to be on that path, like you sound like them, you look like them, you are a visual product of the art that they made. And not to say that there aren't people out there who have been a product of that, but the amount of people to Michael Jackson, to Lauryn Hill, it ain't even comparable.
Not comparable.
It's not even close.
You cannot compare.
Yeah, nah.
It's
So I don't know.
the
That my
global
guess,
influence.
right? My guess
Cannot.
was that it was global influence, and it was like the cultural shift, and like the people who were birthed because of his art, and they were like, yes, that's my guess. I don't really know if that's for sure one of their guidelines,
If he was
but
number one, he should have had both albums on there. Number one, Thriller should have been number one, and he could have had Bad still in the
Bad could have
top
been number
five.
4.
It should have still been in the top
Bad could
five.
have been number 4. Bad could have been 3 or 4.
Yeah, for sure.
Songs in the Key of Life could have been
Should have been
5.
up there. Yeah. Nah, it could have been like three to me. Let me look at the track list. Songs in Key of
I have a better Stevie album for myself, but I get why Songs in the Key of Life is where it is.
Loves in Me. That was good. If it's magic.
Mm,
As is on there, absolutely. Have a talk
that's
with
a
God.
good. You're right. You're right. But see,
Village Ghetto
okay.
Land. If it was no Village Ghetto Land, it would have been no. It would have been no. That was a remake that Coolio did.
It would have been no
Dangerous
remakes.
Minds. It wouldn't have been no Dangerous
Songs in
Minds.
the Key of Life is culturally more
Isn't
um
she lovely? Is that
yeah,
Songs in the Key of Life?
Songs in the Key of Life is more significant culturally, but for me as a person, I like Inner Visions better because there's no skips for me on that album. But I get why Songs in the Key of Life was on there. I like Inner Vision, and I like Inner Vision is probably my number one Stevie Wonder album.
Let me look and see what's on
Inner
Intervision.
Vision is probably my number one Stevie Wonder album. It could be because it's what I heard.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. Songs in the Key of Life is still
But Songs in the Key of Life,
banger.
I get
It had
why
more
it was
bangers.
on there.
It had more
It had
bangers
more bangers, absolutely,
for
absolutely.
sure.
Intervisions didn't really have a lot of. I just know those songs. It puts me back physically in a space,
You have
so
a
it's more remembrance. I have more
you have emotional
attachment to
connection.
it
Yeah, for sure.
emotionally. Yes,
Uh-huh.
where I'm like, that's I actually really like. My dad used to play that album for me all the time when I was younger.
Yeah.
So
I have emotional connection to I have emotional connection to Ron Canoli. Remember, if we had to go on the gospel side, baby, that
if
Ron
we got to do
Canoli,
the
we're
100 gospel
going up
albums of
to
all
the
the time,
high
do we have a
places.
gospel album? I don't even think a gospel album made it on there. That you said it.
No, no.
Y'all
Y'all don't
wildin'.
know the Lord. Y'all don't know the Lord over there at
you
Apple.
better you better find them. That bitten apple got us into trouble once. Don't get into trouble again.
Period. Do you know why you're called Apple? Huh? Do you know?
I could
That's not the
first of
only
all,
apple. No, I'm just
first of all, Kirk Franklin and the family up there.
yes. Patient,
His
patient,
face
love,
and
God. Yes, that should have been top three. But that
woo!
Ron
That could have
Canoli,
been.
do you know how many every single church was singing that Ron Canoli?
They really were actually. That was like probably one of the first times
We're
I had
gonna
heard like
tear the devil's kingdom down. Boom, boom, boom,
boom
boom.
boom boom. Uh
Israel
yeah.
Newbury,
You
he's
know
still a
what?
goat.
Israel live
Live
in
in South
South
Africa,
Africa. You better say it
that was
live in South
revolutionary.
Africa
Baby, we
was
were
a
singing them songs
revolution.
for 10 years
He was
straight.
singing in other languages. He was like, I don't care. Keep the mic on. Sing in your
I
language.
live in South Africa. Wasn't nobody even
Sing
going to Africa sing that album.
sing your dialect. Please give it to the people. I said,
Baby,
oh, this
you
man on
are.
another level. Ty Tribb and Victory.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
We could
yeah.
do that. Let's
We could
do
do
that.
that.
We next episode, mark this. We ain't gonna do 100 because we ain't got time for it. Unless that's gonna be the
We're gonna
whole
do top
segment.
top five,
Top
top 10.
10. Top 10. Top 10,
We're
top 10.
going up to the high
Yonder.
places.
Um,
We're gonna tear the devil's kingdom down. Okay, sorry, y'all. We're so silly today.
our men's choir used to sing that. It used to
Tear it up.
take us out. Our men's choir.
Tear that junk up. Whose report do you
You
believe?
believe
We shall
it
believe the
belongs
reporter. I wanna
to go.
know. He ate
Man,
that
that's
up.
crazy.
He did.
I
He had
forgot
all
about
the
that album.
instruments.
I'm not
He
gonna
had
hold
all
you.
the
I ain't even
instruments.
gonna hold you. I forgot about that album. I forgot
That
about
bass
that
player
album.
was killing. Go back and listen. Go back and tell me it don't bless you.
I forgot about that album.
That was starting revivals. They was having revivals just off
They
anointing.
really were.
Anointing fall on me. Let the power of the Holy Baby. He did that.
I forgot about
No
that.
skips. It was no skips on that album. Tell me
Let me
what
look at
skip.
the. Let me look at it. Let
It
me
was
look
no
at it.
skips. Hallowed be thy name. And they all connected. All the songs connected like one long worship, praise and
It
worship
was like one
service.
long. That's what I remember it being.
They don't do that no more.
I remember
And
hearing that and being like, "We still on the same song. It ain't been not one skip. How I'm still cleaning. How I'm still sweeping, and we still on the same song." I remember being like,
before it was Maverick City, it was
man,
Ron Canoli. You better know your history.
Ron Cano, baby,
Before them 10-minute
baby.
Maverick City songs, it was Ron
It
Canoli.
was Ron the
The
Cannoli.
okay.
Why my internet not working? Okay,
He
I'll fix it.
ate
We're gonna talk
down.
about that. We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about that next episode because
Ate it
that's
up.
actually that's actually okay. All right. All right. So we put this off from last week. Do you want to answer this Twitter question I had, or you want to just jump into the discussion? I had a question. I think it would be funny to. And
We should
you
do it.
saw it?
That's hilarious.
Okay.
Let
All
me do it.
right.
Let me do it.
So I saw. I hope you look at the same question I'm looking at. There was an original question that I didn't want to ask, so I did my own rendition of it. What thought about adulthood that you had, back in the day, would you go back and tell your younger self was a lie? That was a lie, girl. You thinking that this is what adulthood is, and that ain't it. Just one.
Like when you'll be out of school and you won't have to like do no more homework, right? That was a lie. And the die determined test determined, the lie detect test determined
That
that
was a lie.
that was a lie.
The lie detector test determined that was a lie. I agree.
Because you are always trying to come up in life and get better and better your
If you're
coins.
trying to get better, you are
Yeah,
always.
I mean, even if you're on a job, like you're never gonna just be at a place where you can stop learning and be good. Like things change, industry changes. Like you're always going to have to be learning. So all this little stuff, like, oh, once I get out of school, I'm out of school. You're not. You're forever in the school of life, and you have to keep
It's a hard nut
learning.
life for
For
us.
us,
It's hard nut life for
look,
us.
Orphan Annie
Yeah.
was on to something. She 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 had a
That
she had a
redhead,
revelation.
she had a revelation. That was the blood of Jesus must have washed over her head. That's why she was a redhead. She had a revelation and had told her, "Oh no, we in the school of hard knocks, girl."
you will never be able to stop learning. And you have tests and pop quizzes of
That
life.
are and they're true pop quizzes. They will be unannounced and they'll just pop up out of
Unannounced.
nowhere.
And the teacher not gonna tell you when you taking the test. They not gonna tell you
There's
nothing.
no study
Remember, you
guide.
said raise your hand, be like, I don't understand this part. I don't know what this means. Be like, you just have to do your best.
No, you got to look at your own cliff notes. Ain't no cliff notes. You just flip it
That's
through.
right. I can't tell you. You just have to do your best. Whoo! And that is really how life be. I can't tell you. You just have to do your best. You gotta do your best. Woo! You really gotta do your best out here. You be getting tested. You don't know.
You are.
Oh my God, I'm crying. I'm crying. Whoo! You don't know. You be trying and you don't even know. Yeah, and remember when you was in school, you used to walk in class and there was always that one person that'd be like, "We had a test today."
That was Tara. That was me for the first 5 years post college. I was waking up like, we got a test today. I'm
Woo!
tested.
Life
My
be,
life is a test.
baby,
We
life
still
be
in
coming at
test
you
mode.
fast.
I
Life
said
be
I
coming
done
at
got
you.
2 degrees. How I'm still out here being tested? Good Lord.
Life will come at you fast.
Fast. Vroom
Woo!
vroom. It really will. That's what
Woo!
that's a good one.
Baby, the school of life, baby. You ain't ready for this school. You ain't ready. This school, baby. Woo! Woo wee! At least you just got in trouble with your client, with your parents. If you fail
Baby,
school of
if I
life,
could
baby,
go back,
your lights might be cut off. You don't know. You
you may be sitting in the dark and that's your lesson. You may have no AC, no heat. You can't turn on a burner, no food, no electricity, no hot water. That's your lesson. That's crazy. That's a crazy lesson. I don't want to have to learn that. If you really playing a sick game, you may come home and your locks is changed. And then you really learn the sick game.
you come home, the locks has changed.
Right, wait a
You
minute.
tell us you're getting the voice praise. Listen, you better learn. Y'all better be out here learning. Cause life be testing.
Learn that test and learning never
It
stops.
comes at you fast.
Bad life really
That's
could
what I
I
would have said. It's a lie. It's a
it's
lie.
a lie.
You
Don't
forever gonna
believe it,
be in school.
girl. You're gonna forever be in school. That's fair. I think I would tell my younger self what was a lie is that when you get older, you will have more time to do everything that you want to do, which is not true to begin with. You just think once I turn 21 or whatever, it's just going to be a free for all. Who knows where the
Nope.
money's coming from, where the living situation's coming from, where you
Nope.
going to stay, where you going to work, who's going to take care of you. I don't know. You're just telling yourself, when I get older, I'm going to just have time to do whatever I want when I want.
Yep. Them
That's
days
a
be going
lie.
by.
If
It's
you
a
thought
lie.
you had
And the lie
structure,
determined test, the lie detector test
determined that
determined
was.
that was a lie. Okay?
If you thought you had structure when you were younger and you had a schedule and you was like, man, I hate the schedule. Wait till you have to wake
Make
up,
your own schedule and follow
make your own schedule and follow it. Freak college. We thought college we was doing something, making our own schedule. Wait till you actually have to fit everything that actually has to get done in a day. Because if you don't do it, nobody else is going to do it. You don't cook, you don't eat. You
You
don't get
don't
something
eat.
to eat. You don't clean up, you come back to a dirty home. You don't go to work, you miss out on that pay. You don't finish whatever projects you have to finish, whether you're in school or not, or your freelance business. Nobody's going to do it for you. Nobody's there helping you with your science project. It's just you.
Your son.
You. It's just you, girl.
Oh, I
You
used to
may
help my
have a
brother with his science fair
spouse.
project. Child, I should have let
You
him
may
do
have a
that.
spouse. And even then, they still got their own life
They got
that
their
they
own
gotta make
stuff.
sure stays into accordance. You
Mm-hmm.
don't take that meat out before you leave the house. Guess
You're
what you
not
coming
gonna
home to?
be.
Frozen chicken.
It was so funny. I seen him. He was like, I now understand, but my mama really needed me to take the
She
meat out.
really, she really need.
She
She
really
asked us to
needed me to
do
do that.
one thing. She asked us to do one thing, and we couldn't even do that. One thing. We're such
Did you take
ungrateful
that meat
children.
out, huh?
What? What? Take what meat out?
When I
I would
when
have
I get
slapped
kids, I'll
me
be
into
like, send
next
me a picture.
Tuesday too.
Send
Cause
me a
what I'm
picture
supposed to
of
do
it.
now? Okay. Now that we have phones, send me a picture of the meat in the
Send me a
sink.
picture of the living room and put a red box in the
Did you wash
on
the
the bed.
dishes? So yes, you will not initially. If you work your way up, eventually life will get to a point. But you ain't gonna wake up one day and be an adult and then it's just Tom Hanks and big and you just do whatever you want to do.
Baby.
No, that's not reality, girl. Put yourself on a schedule. Get used to that schedule because you more than likely will be on the schedule for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
The schedule may look different depending on your season, but it's going to be a schedule.
True.
All right, so we're hopping into today's lesson. We're having a group discussion about iconic shows and their impact on the ideals of friendship. And I thought it would be interesting to talk about today. We are living a
Me single.
single.
Ooh, in the
Ooh,
90s kind of world. I'm glad I got my girl. Keep your
oh,
head
keep
up,
your head up.
girl. Keep your
What?
head
Keep
up,
your head
cause
up.
right,
That's right.
whenever this
Whenever it's
stuff,
study
we
time,
got
you
it
gotta
up. My
fight with my
homegirl
homegirl.
said to
Stand
her,
to my
look,
love.
never
Am I
ride you
right?
true.
True blue. We
Right
tight
like glue.
like glue. We are
Check it
living
out, check it out. Dip
single.
it down. Keep
Beep-a-doo.
it
Yes. So we have some iconic figures on there, which we can
iconic.
talk a little bit about later in our artist. I think this would be beneficial to talk about in our artist segment, how things don't start off as iconic.
Mm.
Because if you actually look at the numbers for living single, they weren't as great as you think they are
That's
in
so
the present day.
powerful. What a powerful idea.
And what they thought wouldn't pay off paid off in the end,
Yeah,
for
it's
sure.
iconic. It's
It's
iconic.
iconic now. And they're getting residual checks that are bigger than some of the checks that they were getting when they first started the show.
It makes sense. It makes sense.
So, yes. So, let's talk about it, right? We've got what? 6 main characters. We've
Yep.
got Khadijah. We've
Khadijah,
got
Star,
Sinclair.
Sinclair,
Yes. We've
Ditzy,
got
Silly One,
Regina. Regine.
Regine. I love Regine.
Not with Grant Hill. That was an episode with Grant
My
Hill. I
lips are
remember.
crusty. I need some Vaseline.
Remember when remember was what's her name? Jennifer Lewis was on there. She was like, Regine. We have
Regine.
Max.
Max, love Max.
Yes, the Maverick is back. We also
Mm.
had Kyle and Obi. We had 2 male characters, which was
Kyle
really
and
interesting.
Obi.
Oh, shooby dooby doo. We had them. So let's look a little bit about their relationships, right? I'm gonna start off with what I thought, cause I feel like sometimes there's like a pit relationship, like a core, and then there are subsidiary relationships that build based off of that, which isn't bad. I'm just saying that's what the core was. You had Khadijah and Razine's relationship, which I felt like was kind of Khadijah Regine and Max, but Khadijah had her separate relationships with them, but they were still the
Yeah.
pit. They were still the pit of it. And then Sinclair came, and then Kyle and Overton came
Mhm.
in, right? And so I think it was really interesting because Khadijah and Max's relationship was vastly different than
Vastly different.
Khadijah and Razine's relationship.
Yeah.
So, do you ever did you see yourself in any of those like characters when you were watching it? I know we were kind of young watching it, but even like rewatching it when we got older.
What can I say this? um I think I saw portions of myself in like multiple characters, right? But
Mm-hmm.
first, I want to give like honor to whoever, like as an adult, is hitting me that the fact that Khadijah was an entrepreneur and had her own freaking magazine, and how
Man,
big of a deal and how hard that must have been for her to
odds stacked
accomplish
against her.
as a young black woman in New York. So the fact that she was doing that, and she was like, she was a writer, she was getting these interviews, and she had a freaking magazine, was like, first of all, I didn't understand how big of a deal that was until I'm an
Mm-mm.
adult in entrepreneurship. And I'm like,
Same.
oh
You know,
my
I used to say
God,
I'm gonna have me a production company. I'm gonna be Khadijah James one day. You don't understand how tough that actually is
to
until you're
do.
trying to do it in real
And to
life.
be yeah, and to be like a single woman. Like, it's one thing to have a business like that and have a partner, to have a, a partner, like, because if something happened, like, you got a husband, you got a spouse, you got a, whatever, to fall back to, like, kind of catch you, to buffer that
She
that
didn't
can
have
kind of
anybody.
help
She
you
didn't
out.
have no
She didn't have
family. She
nobody.
had Max for a little bit. Max did bind her out of one situation, but she didn't want to
Yeah.
take that. It really was
Right.
hard for her to accept help, but
Right.
she had no buffer. It was really her
It
betting
was
on
really
herself
her.
every day.
Yeah. So I mean, like, just to have, but you just seeing her friends rally around it was just, I loved the fact that Khadijah was like, she was a boss. She was funny. She was still silly. She had that
Mm-hmm.
real, like, she was clearly like about her business, and went after what she wanted, but she still had that really silly side, that really funny side, that she was a girl's girl, but she was in her own way. Every girl is not the same. You know what I'm saying? She had her tomboy moment. She had her, where she got dressed up moment. So I just love, and then I also love Regine, because Regine was all about a look, honey, and I understood that. She had her outfits, her all of that, but I didn't relate
Her
to her on always
wigs.
having a man situation, because she always had her man, honey, was always going on a date,
She couldn't
and that just
have.
was
That's.
not me.
Can I just say? Can I just say that one of my favorite lines from the entire series of that show comes from the very first episode, the pilot.
Wow. Okay.
The very first pilot, and it's kind of based off of what you said, right? It's a conversation. If you haven't seen it, long story short, Regine is dealing with a married man, and her friends
Mm,
find out that they're married. He's married before her, and they
mm,
rally around. They're like, "Girl, we got you. You ain't got to take this." She don't want to give him up. She believes he gonna leave a wife. Whatever. She comes. He doesn't show up. The relationship is over. Regine's like, Khadijah, just tell me. You just tell me so that you want me to tell me so. And she's like, I don't want to do that. And she's like, you just are always looking for a guy to carry you. And
yeah.
Regine is like, what's wrong with that? And Khadijah's like, they keep dropping your ass.
Ooh.
That resonated with me when I heard that. I think I was a preteen, and I said, good Lord.
Good Lord.
That is good, and that has
Yeah.
that is one of my favorite lines. And then Max comes in, it's like you can have anything you want as a woman. You don't need a man, and it's just like this rallying around of like you don't have to have somebody carrying you. Yes, it's nice to have that, but you
Yes.
don't have to have that to get to where you need to go. And that is one of my favorite lines of the whole entire series.
I love the fact that it shows that you can have a love outside of romantic relationship. Like
Yeah.
it's not the only relationship where you can experience love and comfort and joy and satisfaction. Like those friendships are thriving relationships where you can experience a level of satisfaction in your life. Now,
Hmm.
am I saying it's ever going to take the place of a romantic? No, but it is an addition to other important relationships in your life. So if something does go wrong in a romantic relationship, it's not the end of your world. You still have
Yeah.
all of these people, like you said, that even though her romantic relationship fell, she still had all these people who loved her, who support her, who want to see her do well. And I just thought that was so dope. Love that. What? Love that.
It
Love
was
that.
a very much so like a trailblazer show. We had really
Yes.
never seen that structure of four urban women in an urban area who were trying to do
Navigating.
because when you honestly think about it, they all were figuring their own things out. Regine
They were
eventually
figuring it out.
she loved fashion and she wanted to be a buyer. Then she eventually became an event planner. You had Sinclair, who was like, I moved from this small city and I'm learning myself. And even though Sinclair was the first one to get like this real like
Marriage.
love interest and marriage, she still never gave up on her dream, right? She was like, I want to be an
Right.
actress. I want to do this. And then you had Max, Max really was one of the only traditional people we
Yeah.
saw on the
Yeah, she
show.
was a lawyer.
She was a
Yeah.
lawyer. She was the only
Yeah.
person who really went to school and like did what you would consider a traditional job back then.
Maxine Shaw, attorney at law.
Attorney
Yeah.
at law, Ride the Maverick.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I really appreciated seeing that as well. I think that I really appreciated seeing four women getting along even in their disagreements, even in their
Yeah.
differences. You know what I'm saying? You even had like the funny bits between Max and Regine where they
I
was
love that.
snip at each other. But they at the
Yeah.
end of the day they still had those moments where like, I understand you, girl. Like
They really did love each
they
other.
really did love each other, and if
Yeah.
push came to shove, you knew they would be there for one another if they
Yeah.
needed it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
we see these kind of like levels of life and relationship and how they can commingle and how you don't have to like completely necessarily agree with someone's path, but if you really look at it, y'all not that different. Because there's even the
Mm-hmm.
episode where Max and Regine end up in that relationship class together, where they both looking like trying to figure out how to like get a man. And so it's just like, it's like, okay, y'all both here. You're not as different as you think. Yes, y'all go about it in different means, but y'all both want the same thing at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I also love like that they were women who had to be strong, but they didn't necessarily want to be strong all day long. And
no.
they had to be strong in their jobs. They were working
Mm-hmm.
women. They were in a tough environment. New York City is not for the weak or the faint of heart. But you could
Man.
see their desire to have companionship and,
Mm-hmm.
try to navigate balancing showing up as the softer side of them in the midst of having to be strong. Maxine, you're an attorney. You can't just be like a soft little something. You gotta be, have this balance, and then you can see her with Kyle. I loved their interaction, like her and Kyle trying to tell her like, it's okay. I'm strong for you. You don't have to be this hard, strong woman. Like, just calm down. And he was always trying to like get her. He was always turned off by the fact that she was so hard, basically. But it was he wanted to crack that shell. It was something in him that
Here's
was
what I
like up
think.
in there.
Yeah,
It's
this is
something
what
I
I
want.
think happened. This is what I think happened. I think, and I don't know if this is necessarily true for all men and women interactions when that is in play.
Mm-hmm.
I see it as having happened where Kyle saw that softness and intimacy, right, with them. And
Mm-hmm.
he knew it was possible. He
Mm-hmm.
didn't necessarily like the fact that she was overtly strong, but he
Mm-hmm.
respected it and he wanted a
He respected it.
balance. He
Yeah, he
wanted
just
a
wanted her to dial it
balance.
back.
Yes,
Yeah.
he just wanted her to like be like, you don't have to always do we don't always have to do the tango where you're in the lead. Like, just let me
Mm-hmm.
lead
Let
and
me
trust
leave.
me, and we could do this. And so that's why he kept, like, they built upon the sexual tension, but I feel like it was part of it was like he saw that softness there. So it's just like, this is not to say, ladies, to lay down with a man so he can see your softness. That's
No,
not the
no,
way
no,
that
it's
that's
in
supposed to look
that.
like. I just need to put that disclaimer out there because some people may take that like that. But I think he did, because, you know what I'm saying, when she finally does say those three words that he's been waiting to hear, he's willing to lay it all on the line, right? He's
Yeah,
like
he
going
was
to
up
another
there.
country and he's like, come with me. You can be
Mm-hmm.
with me, live over there. I love you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I do like the fact that you said they do lay down their softness, because you see them get into these relationships and they get like really kind and a little bit more fragile, and they're a little
Mm-hmm.
bit more like soft and a little bit more laid back, and they're just like, because I feel like people don't understand that there is a look that comes with carrying the brunt of it all. And I don't mean
Mm.
like physically you just look like the whole Hunchback of Notre Dame. I'm saying
Mm-hmm.
like physically people can look at you and be like, you are carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders.
You look like what you've been through.
You look like what you've been through. You need some help. You don't have to live like this.
Mm-hmm.
And so you would see that kind of like happen, this kind of alleviation periods
Mm-hmm.
for them as individual characters. I mean, even like Sinclair and Overton's relationship wasn't this like quick blossom. They
It
built
wasn't.
up. There was like this innocence that was surrounded upon around it. There was like no pressure, even though they really cared for one another and they really like desired one another. You come to find out that they like waited to be intimate, way into their relationship. Um, yeah.
I love also that it was like you how they were all friends first, and so even when
Mhm.
they other people started dating, they still were all remained friends. You know, they still
Mhm.
all had their own relationships with each other. You know what I'm saying? And it was like a respect there, and it wasn't like you know what I'm saying? It was just like a natural respect. But what I love too is that like you can see, like going back to the Max and Kai relationship, you can see like Kyle, like you said, he respected her. He just wanted her to dial it back some. But you could
Mhm.
see him. He was like he wanted to chase this lion and catch it. It's like Max was like this wild mare, like this wild maverick mare that was just like, ooh, if I could just catch her, that would be amazing. And I think that was just like attractive to him because he wanted to like break her, not in a way that was like hurtful, but break her from this like hardcore blah blah blah, because that's what he knew, that's what she really wanted. He knew. I love the fact that it showed the dynamic between, just because you have a dream and you have a career doesn't mean you don't want love. And these
Mhm.
women had these different careers and these blossoming friendships, but they still did want love. And it was like they had to navigate how to open themselves up to receive that love from a man, and that's not always easy to do when you're carrying so much, you have so much responsibility, you got so much going on. But how they had to like really just allow themselves to be loved, like you can, like at the end with Scooter and Khadijah, like they're childhood sweethearts, and they've always loved each other, and they've always been in love. And like she's just like, no, I just can't drop everything for you and follow you. I have a career, and I have, these things, and them trying to navigate each other's careers, and but
Yeah.
just knowing that love is worth it, and they can make adjustments to their lives to have the love that they want. So I just love that. It was just such a fun light show that dealt with some different issues, but it was just a fun, realistic show. Who knew? Who knew it would be such a success?
Who knew? I totally see myself in multiple characters. I
Yeah,
see
for sure.
characteristics of my friendships even to this day in those dynamics. Uh, I totally like agree with you saying that they were multifaceted in the way that they were showing these like working entrepreneurial women who still desired love and weren't just trying to close themselves off. I would like to add to that it really kind of tried to show a realistic portrayal of like
Yes.
hurt and what you go through with pain and like the disappointment in dating, the disappointment, even going back to Khadijah and Scooter, who you would have thought would have been a no brainer, right? Y'all know each
Yeah.
other. Why can't y'all? But the dynamic in reality
Of
is I
timing.
have timing. I have a dream. I'm here. I can't drop that for you. I can't trust this. You know what I'm saying? We're moving so quickly from friendship to relationship. How am I supposed to know? And then you just gone and we don't talk at all. And then you come back and we have this passion, but then you're gone again. And then it's just like, I think that's very realistic when you think about it as an adult. You're like, I'm building my life. I can't just like leave that. I can't just like
Question.
lay that down.
Question. I have a question. So it just shows you like how you want these two things. These two things are not mutually exclusive. You want to have it all. You see them journey to try to create it all, to experience it all. I have a question.
Hmm.
So if you had the opportunity, but you had to choose between
I don't
for
like
the
this.
next ah for the next
I
five
didn't like
years.
this.
For the next 5 years, you can choose not to answer, but just an interesting question. For the next 5 years, you can have the relationship of your dreams, or you can have the career of your dreams. For the next 5 years, which one are you choosing? You can't have both. You can either have like the
So
relationship of your dreams at
I
this
have
point in
some
your life. At this point in
questions
your life.
about what happens after that. Am I just like am I like
No,
going
no, but
down
no,
or
nobody's saying that. But we're just saying for this next 5 years, you can have either the relationship of your, like, let's say you have a job, you can have a job of your dreams, but you met the guy of your dreams. And it's like you can stay here and be with the guy of your dreams for the next 5 years, and this job not opening again, or you can go and have the job of your dreams. But he can't go.
I will say this at the age and the place that I am in my life right now.
Agent stage at the agent stage. Do, 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 do. Job of your dreams.
And I'm thinking about the job of my dreams.
Okay. Relationship of your dreams. He can't go. He has to stay here. This job is never going to open for the next 5 years.
Here's
Yeah.
what I would choose.
You can't choose both. It's one or the
I
other.
know you said that. Thank you so much.
You mad or no?
Um, if I'm being honest with myself with where I am right now and the career trajectory that I've had and all that I've been able to accomplish and all that I want to be able to accomplish, even in that, still, I would probably choose the man of my dreams because I feel like if I am with the person who fits that memory or that kind of like trajectory in my mind, they will only push me towards. So, yes, albeit the job that I thought was the job of my dreams may be gone. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like making the choice to be like, all right, I feel like what I could build with another person would take me even further
Mm-hmm.
past that thought. And
Mm-hmm.
then what I thought was the job of my dreams, it doesn't even compare to where we go together.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's add to that. Let's add to that. Love it.
Okay, you gonna answer this too? Because we added. What you mean
No,
we
no, 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 no. We're
added?
still on you. We're
What
still on
you
you.
mean? Okay.
So we're still on you. So, what if you had to choose? You wake up and you have a life, and it's like choose. You either live the rest of your life doing the thing that you love,
Mm-hmm.
or you get to live and you don't get the relationship, or
It would really.
wait,
That's
wait,
kind
wait,
of
wait,
tough,
wait,
though.
wait, wait,
That's
wait,
kind of tough.
or you can be with the most amazing relationship, love, and you don't get to do the thing that you love.
That's tough because I feel like they would coincide at some point. I don't feel like I would ever have to choose forever between the two, right? I feel
Mm-hmm.
like I may have to make sacrifices in the time being, but I don't think there is nowhere in my destiny, and this is no shade to that, this exists for a reason, but there's nowhere in my destiny that I have seen from God that had told me that I'm just going to be a stay-at-home mom. So I
Mm-hmm.
don't believe that those would cross paths, and then
Mm-hmm.
that's just, I would just only be this.
It's not real. It's just
So I'm
hypothetical.
just trying to think about it hypothetically, but I'm just like, at the end of the day, I feel like relationships are so much more important. And yes, you can have relationships in business and you can have relationships in your career, but I feel like personal interconnected relationships are what keep people. I mean, you see the people who are like been married for 80 years and then the spouse dies and then 2 years later they pass away. There's a reason, like they've been
Yeah,
connected
that's
on
true.
that realm. So I really value those kind of relationships to my core, and thinking that there is value in having someone who you build that kind of connection with.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so
And
if
I
I
feel like
really
I
had
feel,
to, I don't know.
here's the thing. It's different for everyone. Everybody doesn't feel like that marriage is for them.
No, they
Marriage and
don't.
family is for
Yeah.
them. And so for them, they would feel lost if they weren't doing what they love because that's how they impact and leave a legacy for the world, right?
Hmm.
Some people leave a legacy through their children, them raising
Absolutely.
children and having children. And some people choose to leave legacy through the work that they've done. You know what I'm saying? And not that you ever have to choose, but for some people, it's more on the side of like, I dedicate my life to this is my life's work to build this or to create
Yeah.
this save these children or save whatever, right? And for them, that is their family or some
Yeah.
kind of pseudo, type of family or something like that. But so I get it. It's just an interesting question to ask.
It depends on, it would really depend on where I am in my life. If I were at like a place where I felt like I had built something up in that realm of my legacy, maybe my answer would be different, right? Because I'm like, I have this, um, and I know I'm on my way towards that. But yeah, it's just an interesting question. For the last one, I really don't know. I know you have to choose. I just, can we circle back around? Maybe you just answer the first question.
Me, um,
If not the second one you asked, but if you had to
for
choose for
five
5
years.
years.
Um, yeah, I think for me, it's a pretty much a no-brainer for me right now because of where I am in my life. If I was 20 years old
Yeah.
and you would have asked me that, I probably been like, I want a career and I want to do it. Now it's like I've worked, I've done all those things,
Right.
all of that. And priority for me is having a family. Like that's number one for me. And I don't want to say everything I do, but kind of everything I'm doing now is to create a lifestyle and put my life in a place that I can have the freedom to rate to have a husband and raise a family, because building a business up so that I don't have to work as much, I can scale back and only work certain days a week, or just stuff like that, where I can have the freedom to, yes, still pursue my dreams and have some hands off, some stuff happening, um, where I'm making money passively, where I'm not having to trade time for, you know, trade my time for money so that I can dedicate more time to my children. And that's just what it is for me right now. And everybody doesn't feel that way, and I respect everybody. It's just an interesting question.
Absolutely.
But it just shows you that it changes, because I don't know, being the
Hmm.
culture that we was raised in, how I was raised. My dad, if I would have said, somebody would have asked me that when I was 18, I would have been like, "Are you crazy? Career? Like, I don't know nothing about being nobody right now." You know what I'm saying? Or 20, even still, like, I want to get education and I want to, have opportunity, blah blah blah. So, but at 30 something, it's like, yeah, I've done all those things. I'm good on that, and were we tricked? No, I'm just the feminism. That's a whole
No,
conversation
same
for
though,
another day.
same. Cause like I'm out here.
Yes,
I
we
like to
want to
be.
work. Do we? Do we really want to work this
Honestly, I
hard?
don't think I ever said I
I
really wanted to work. I just wanted to not
be a slave.
be a slave.
No,
That's it.
be
But I get
subservient.
it. But I get it. I was never on that feminism wave
We
where
were
you wanted to
tricked.
ever. We were
The women,
bamboozled,
the independent.
hoodwinked,
No, we don't want to
led
be there.
astray. And I
We
knew
want
it.
to
We should
just.
have known it when she was talking about all the single ladies when she was married. You married. What you mean all the single ladies? Why you doing this when your finger got a ring on it? You got a ring. You made a whole dance and you married, girl. Had a baby 2 years later. That's crazy. But yeah, I mean, now I would definitely say that's why I said in 5 years, because I have had a very interesting career life. I
For
have
sure.
done a lot.
Same.
I have been in a lot of rooms. I have held a lot of titles. I have done a lot for myself. Um, and so I would love to be able to see that other side of things for sure. So, like, yeah, it does depend on where you are in your life. And because if
It
you would
really
have asked
does.
me in college, where, you know what I'm saying, you have a situation where my father passes away and I'm looking at my mom to be like a single mom, and she's teaching me this is how you take care of yourself because you have a degree, because you're smart, and so I'm thinking, yeah, I gotta like be smart about it before I meet, not knowing like, nah, you actually got where you got because you had help when you first started out, because you got married at 18,
Mhm.
and all the 3 degrees you got before that and the family you had before that is because you had a spouse who was like helping you. Right. That looks very different on the back end.
Mhm.
So,
I don't
um,
think we give people enough credit for the role that relationships and marriage play. That nobody's
absolutely not.
relationship is perfect, but how it is a buffer, how it does mean something to have somebody back you and help you and support you and be there for
Yeah.
you. And that if you're starting a business, like, you have someone that is
Mhm.
that's down for you, that's helping you navigate and network and all of this other type of stuff. So it really makes a huge difference. And I think it's so sad that marriage is being put in just such a negative light now, when people
Mhm.
of all cultures understand that they celebrate marriage for 5 days and 10 days and do all this stuff with families and do all these different ceremonies and do all this stuff because they understand how it does change the course of history for a person's life. It really does determine how far they can go if it's a good marriage or if it's a good
Mm-hmm.
relationship, and how it affects both families and how it affects the next generation and how it affects the previous generation, and how it just is really just such a foundational piece of life for a person. And that's why I think it's so hard when marriages end, right? Because it doesn't just affect that
Man,
person. It affects the parents, it affects the grandparents, it affects the siblings, it affects the friends, it affects the children, it affects the nieces and nephews,
anybody you've intertwined yourself into,
any time.
which I think, yeah.
It was hard, like even though we didn't have children, like in my marriage, like having to explain that to my nieces and nephews, someone who was there for like 4 years straight, and then all of a sudden they're not. It was like that was hurtful for part of their life, and I'm sure it was hurtful for me not to be in his niece and nephew's life anymore. And for some people they're able to maintain that. For us, we just couldn't. And so it just goes to show you just like how important it is, and it's okay to say. That's why I think it was powerful to ask that question, because it's okay to say, hey, I do want this now. For a long time I was focused on my career. For a long time I was focused on other parts of my life, but now, like, this is important to me, and I am making arrangements to be in a position to welcome that and have that in my life, because it does affect a lot of things. So, and people, it can take you to another level. It can make your life better in a lot of ways. But yeah, I
Can I
thought that
just
was
say
interesting.
something about that intermingling a little bit? Just one small tidbit.
Hmm.
And even as we're older, because I had this when I was younger, but even as we're older now, because it's a little bit easier to do it. But
Hmm.
I think it's very important to vet people before you introduce them into those other parts of your lives.
Yeah, for
If you
sure.
start mixing and mingling them into your friendships and your relationships with your nieces and nephews or children, all that,
Hmm.
it matters. So
Hmm.
just really think about it um, before you make those steps.
Yeah.
And that doesn't necessarily have to mean you're pondering on it for days and months or whatever. Sometimes you know when you know,
Hmm.
3-4 months, whatever.
Hmm.
But if you're having like these conversations with yourself about what could potentially happen, or it may just not be a good time to introduce them and mix and mingle them into those other areas of your life,
Hmm.
because it could become a little bit more difficult to untwine
Oh
that.
yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, we had some technical difficulties, but we back on the grind. Y'all know what it do. We here, baby. Anywho, if y'all have not checked out Living Single, it would behoove you to do that for yourself. It is a great
Well
show.
written.
Well
Characters
written.
outstanding
Jokes still stand up to this
to
day.
this day. To
If
this
you
day.
are anywhere in the late 80s, early 90s realm of being born, you gonna get the joke. Okay, so if you're the early spectrum of millennials, not so much the 1996ers. I mean, you even may still get those jokes a little bit. Some of them you may get, but you really gonna get it. I'm talking about star-studded guest appearances,
Yeah, the cast was crazy.
music. The cast and the guest appearances were crazy. They
Iconic
pulled out
saying.
all the stops, which is why I'm just like, it's so crazy that it wasn't what it is today. But we'll have another conversation about how, like, what we consider black culture and like the avant-garde and the like black be all categories today were not, they were flops when they came out. Five Heartbeats flop when they came out. Temptations flopped when they came out. Lost money.
Wow.
Robert Townsend maxed his credit card out to make the Five
Wow.
Temptations. He made the Five Temptations and he made Hollywood Shuffle.
Mhm.
I'm talking about Hollywood Shuffle still to this day had me rolling.
Mhm.
Ronnie, Ronnie, you killed my brother, man. That is Hollywood Shuffle, Five Heartbeats,
Five Heartbeats is like
National
my
Treasure.
favorite movie ever.
It is like National Treasure today. David
National
Ruffin said,
Treasure.
walked up and said, "Duh."
Da-da. Not
But
like
when
this.
it came out,
I wish.
bottom, bottom. And
Wow.
now it is a national treasure. So, like, you just never know what something's going to be when you put it out. But yeah, if you have a chance, I think Living Single is streaming on Hulu. I think it's streaming on HBO Max. Those are the two ones I can think about where it's streaming at. You could probably also see some shows on HBO, YouTube or whatever, but highly suggest you all go watch it.
But
Amazing show.
I think anything that turns the culture, anything that shifts the culture, anything, it's gonna be ahead of the culture. So the
Well,
culture has
yeah.
to actually catch
Trailblazers don't know
up.
they're trailblazers until the trail has been blazed.
Yeah, they have to, the culture has to catch up. And so when
Mm-hmm.
you drop that content and people not messing with it yet, I think this is just another encouraging tidbit. It just goes to show you, you can look at the artistry, the track of artistry that Thriller, all these big albums, a lot of times they don't hit initially. It takes a culture time to catch up. Sometimes the culture is in a whole nother space. And if you're doing something that's opposite or different or that's gonna blaze a new trail, it's gonna set a new trend, that's not gonna pick up initially because they're over here. They've got
Yeah,
to turn around and look at you and say, "Oh, what is that?" And you're doing something new. And a lot of times it'll be criticized and called garbage first. So,
absolutely. Weird,
yeah.
all kind of stuff. But it will
Yeah,
open the doors you need to get through because look at how much a majority of those people were able to do moving forward from that.
yeah.
Right? Rob,
Moving forward.
yes, Five Heartbeats was what it was, but Robert Townsend went on to have television shows and be the producer
Hmm.
of multi-million dollar productions. Like,
Yeah,
he believed in himself, and though he didn't see the immediate outcome of it, he kept going, and he was like,
kept
all right,
going.
yeah, like I said, trailblazers, if you're moving forward as a trailblazer, you'll never see the trail you're blazing behind you. You're just blazing it.
Mm-hmm.
So you just keep it moving forward. So don't give up. Keep moving. We're in the FU 30-day challenge. All right. 30 days of
Keep
posting.
putting out your content. They might
We
not get it till next month or 3 months from now, but you leave it up there. You know,
keep
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 going.
putting out your artwork. Keep pushing. Keep knowing that you have something to say to the world and never give up. Believe in yourself. And I know that sounds cheesy, but it really is reality. You really have to believe in yourself and you really got to know and believe what you have is of some substance or purpose for the world, whether it's one or a million people that
Yeah.
you wanted to reach. So, you all have tuned into another episode of the Friendship University podcast. We're here. I'm again, Grace, with my beautiful co-host, Tarrah Coble. We will have all of her information linked in the description box below. You heard some tidbits that she gave you from her content creation business. She is A1 since day one. She's going to get you right, get you tight. You'll also see us, our handles. And if you don't, here they are. We are Funny Podcast on all platforms. That is UNIPODCAST on Twitter, on Instagram,
FUN.
on TikTok, everywhere. Okay,
Tell me
can I
what you
make
want
it
to
into
do
a
with me.
missing? And we got in Joe to see every time you hold me, trying to get to
No,
know
not
me.
slowly.
You like nice and slow.
Okay.
Okay. Yes, you know where to find us. You also can find us. We are the Friendship University Podcast at gmail.com. Emailing your questions, emailing your shout outs, we would love to start doing graduation segments. It is coming up on graduation season. But we may have missed fall. I'm sorry, we may have missed spring, but fall is in a few months. Fall is starting. People who are graduating in December, start getting your shout outs in. Start giving us confessions, whatever you want to hear us talking about. We're here. We are just trying to give the people what they want. Yeah, you know where to find us, and you'll see it all. Hopefully you're watching on YouTube. Please like, comment, subscribe if you are watching on YouTube, and if you're not, go to the YouTube and like, comment, and subscribe. Until the next time, we out. Peace. Bye.